The New England Patriots have traded Matthew Judon, their best pass rusher and their best player, to the Atlanta Falcons, and they didn't do it for much. They traded him to Atlanta for a third-round pick next year. Judon had been practicing with the Patriots, but had also taken an absence from the team, and there was a clip that went viral of him and new head coach Jerod Mayo getting into a shouting match. No new contract for Matthew Judon with Atlanta yet. He's scheduled to earn $6.5 million this year. He clearly wanted more. Turned 32 last week. Four-time Pro Bowler. Career high 15.5 sacks in 2022. 12.5 sacks in 2021. Missed most of last year with a torn biceps. I bring that up, especially considering that we've talked about how the Houston Texans pass rush looks loaded, because per Jeremy Fowler of ESPN, while the Bears were heavily involved in Matthew Judon trade talks, the Texans also showed some interest, I'm told. The Patriots had a healthy market for him, ultimately leading to a Falcons deal. How healthy of a market is it, number one, if it only took a third-round pick to get Matthew Judon? And number two, if it only took a third-round pick to get Matthew Judon, did the Houston Texans, who at the very least were sniffing around and clearly are showing, given the Stephon Diggs trade happened, that they are pushing all of their chips into the middle of the table for this season, miss out in not trading for him?
I don't know. This is an interesting one because the third-round pick, and I saw people kind of going over what Judon's contract means for the Falcons, that if they can't re-sign him during the season and he leaves in free agency, they would even get a compensatory third-round pick in 2026.
Right.
So it's like you could essentially just trade him for nothing except for the production you get on the field for him. I guess the Texans missed out. I guess I'm more just surprised, Paul, that they were even interested in someone of this caliber. Like what the Atlanta Falcons are doing is they are saying, we are in a weak division and we are going to take advantage of some veteran moves. They just traded for Matthew Judon, as we're talking about. They're about to sign Justin Simmons, it appears. So they're going all in with their veterans to add to the defense as they've brought in Kirk Cousins. And like there's a reason why they're the favorites to win the NFC South this year, because all the moves they've made.
And that division sucks.
But for the Texans, I was surprised to hear that they were in the market at all for someone of Judon's quality. It's not what I would have expected to hear at this point in the offseason.
And it may be as simple as they were just doing their due diligence. They made a phone call. Nick Caserio was with the New England Patriots not too long ago. I don't know if they had conversations back in the day. I know that Judon's been with the Patriots, I want to say, for the last 3 seasons.
Yeah, 3 seasons, yeah.
So probably not any conversations between the two. I wonder if this is as simple as just making a phone call and the Falcons are making this public because they want to seem like they're doing a good job. There is a little desperation to what the Falcons are doing. I feel like Terry Fontenot, especially after the Michael Penix draft pick, after signing Kirk Cousins in the offseason, is probably trying to make Arthur Blank impressed. So there's an element of that here. But they have a ton of depth at the pass rushing spots. I feel like it would be unlikely for the Texans to trade for Judon and then give him an extension. And maybe that's, Joe, why they pressed the pause button, because Judon's going to want a lot of money. Mm-hmm. I think the Texans supposedly have about a little north of $22 million in cap space as things currently stand, and they can free up some more with some cuts and things. So you could theoretically give Judon an extension, but everything that we have seen from the Houston Texans in the Nick Caserio era is that they are not willing to give guys contracts that are longer than 3 years. Laramie Tunsil's about as long as they are willing to go. And I bet that Judon at 32 is probably looking for a little bit more than that. And on top of that, a pretty high annual salary. I think the Texans could make it happen in the short term. I don't know if in the long term they'd be able to make it happen. But it is noteworthy that they, at the very least, picked up the phone and made a phone call, reportedly.
Yeah, because for the long term, look, you've already locked up Daniil Hunter for 2 years. Autry has got like a 3-year contract, I believe, as well. Will Anderson's obviously under his rookie deal. So you've invested in pieces on the edge specifically for him. I mean, it's definitely more screams luxury than necessity.
But they're doing that. I mean, look at the wide receiver room. They got a ton of wide receivers. They got a ton of pass rushers. I don't think it can ever hurt to have too many pass rushers. Too many wide receivers, we'll see. Too many pass rushers doesn't exist.
No, it doesn't, because they're going to get hurt, and plus you can just constantly be bringing them in a rotation. You can do things creatively. I mean, Danielle Hunter is such a monster. You could move him inside theoretically if you wanted to for plays here and there. You know, on a 3rd and long when you want to go after, you could put all these guys on the field in some combination at once. So I like that they're still doing their due diligence at this point. I'm surprised that a player of this caliber is who they were talking to. I wonder if they had some inside information about what Judon is expecting from his new team, and that would have made it more challenging to make the deal.
I think that's likely, and especially after seeing what's going on with Hassan Reddick and the Jets, where Hassan Reddick, after getting traded from the Eagles to the Jets this offseason, is demanding a trade after, I think, accruing nearly $2 million in fines by skipping out on all practices. You do not want to have that happen to you. I feel like there's a very good chance it could happen to the Falcons. I think the Falcons are showing that they are run by morons this offseason. I think it's hilarious that they passed on Bill Belichick. Oh, good luck.
Because they want someone with too much control, too much power.
Someone needs control there. I feel like right now, the way that they are operating is to get a 10-win season and win the NFC South. You going Bill O'Brien here? NFC South champions, doesn't matter.
Yeah, Bill Belichick would have been a much better hire for the Atlanta Falcons. I mean, the whole, like what you're saying, the whole Kirk Cousins Penix thing is bizarre. It feels like there's like two separate people running that organization, that the owner probably wanted the fancy, expensive quarterback, and the player and the GM probably wanted the young rookie to develop. Well, they went with both. We'll see how that works out for you. But this is, I do like the move for the Falcons, to be honest. I mean, I don't view them as a Super Bowl contender, but they're a real playoff contender, especially in the NFC. So I like this move. I like the fact that the Texans were involved. D'Amico Ryans is meeting with the media right now, and he was asked about interest in the edge position, and he said, good football players, that's what I'm looking for. Something we continue to evaluate. That's our job, to improve our team. So super generic answer, but didn't deny it.
Didn't confirm it either. I mean that's just D'Amico. Where is this quote?
Aaron Wilson.
Aaron Wilson tweeted that out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Sean, I think we have to pick a voice.
Yeah, that's true, because that's what we do now with any D'Amico Ryan sound.
I'm not sure which one I want.
Yeah, let's just hear Paul say it today.
Or Paul's pick.
Tucker Paulson.
What is happening? What is going on? The Falcons traded for Matthew Judon? You're asking me about that? Good football players, that's what I'm looking for. Something we continue to evaluate. That's our job, to improve our team. In Joe Biden's America, we could improve our country by building a wall on the border. What is happening? What is going on? Not that. Not that. That's all I got.
That's good. That's perfect. Exactly what we needed, Paul. We asked, you delivered. But yeah, do you want the Texans to go trade for a pass rusher?
No.
I
didn't want them to trade for Diggs. I mean, I'm happy they traded for Diggs, I guess, because in camp this week, it's Stroud and Diggs some more. They seem to have a great combination. But at the same time, you don't always need to go all in. I know that the Madden players out there, giant pants stance over this. And the youths online who believe you can just go get everybody, pants tent for this as well. The idea of the Texans trading for a Matthew Judon. They didn't need to do it. I think it's interesting that they thought about it, and it's on brand with just what they've been doing this offseason, which is aggressively building up the roster while their quarterback is on a rookie contract, which every football nerd and the football cognoscenti believes is something you must do if you stumble into a great quarterback.
Yeah, and like when you think about the draft, I don't know how, I'm not anti-trading draft capital. You have 6 picks next year, so if they want to make a move, I would still much rather it be for a corner or a safety at this point, or as we kind of talked about with DJ on Tuesday when he was in studio with us, using a mid-round to late-round pick to acquire a veteran, backup swing tackle at this point, or guard even for this team.
Offensive line depth, I'm coming around to that. Look, the corner position, it is certainly shallow. One Derek Stingley Jr. injury away from being, I think, an absolute train wreck. So that's probably where I'd prioritize it too. Stephon Gilmore's still out there.
Yeah, we're still waiting for Gilmore to sign somewhere. I think last word was like the Saints were interested.
Yeah,
in
the
him,
Saints were the last parent.
but he hasn't signed anything officially yet. So yeah, I mean, look, there's moves to be made. Pass rusher's not one of them, but I like the idea that the Texans are just kind of kicking it around.